Scott Dallin here again. Today we're going to talk about quickly analyzing complex data. Let's discover how to zero in on the data and insights you need without having to involve a business intelligence expert. Here's the situation. I need to collaborate better with my team. I need to gain insights on what's important to them and how they're working together, and possibly find some resources to help me with my projects and the things that I'm responsible for. Let me share with you one of my favorite tools to accomplish that. I'm going to come up here to my app launcher in the upper left-hand corner. I'm going to click on the Delve tile right here. Delve is one of the latest, greatest tools that I'm in love with from this entire application. Delve allows me to find the resources that are important to me, and it gives me this insight that I'm looking for on how my team's working together and better ways that I can collaborate with my team. What it does is it comes through and it uses machine learning and discovers what's important to me based on how I've worked in the past. It also will look at my Office 365 files, like my OneDrive files that have been shared with me and OneDrive files that I've shared with other people. It will look at my email attachments as part of threads that I'm included in or other individuals have been included in, and it surfaces these things in one location where we can all gain this insight and information. Let me show you how this works. So as I scroll through this, you can see the documents that have been important to me, or things that I've been working on, or documents that it recommends that I take a look at based on my interest and the things that I've worked on. So I have a project for my organization. I have to do some research on some social media strategies that would be important to my organization. So I'm going to do a search for social. And immediately it starts surfacing documents that it thinks might be important to my conversation about social media strategies. And as I scroll through these, I can see really quickly the individuals that are having an impact on this conversation. For example, I see that Kelly Kraut seems to be my guru about social media trends and strategies. I can open any of these documents that are available to me here because they've been shared. Nothing that's private here, but things that she's chosen to make available. And I can open these and take a look at them right from here. I also have the ability to come back in here and reach out to Kelly directly simply by clicking on her name at the top of this document. Now, when it opens up Kelly's page here, it gives me the information I would expect to see about her bio, things that might be interesting to her, her organizational chart. But what it's also showing me is the recent documents that she's been working on, or many of her colleagues that she's been collaborating with recently right here. And I can expand this and view all the colleagues that she's been working with on a regular basis. And it also surfaces other documents that might be important to the conversation that Kelly's having here and her workflows. This enables us to work more closely together, and I get, as a manager, better insights on how my team is working and ways that I can collaborate with them and help. So let's take a look at another option I have available here. The last thing I want to mention is the integrated story, how things work together as part of this tool. If I click on Skype chat, it immediately opens up a Skype window for me, and I can start a conversation with Kelly. So with one tool, I have the ability to find the resources that I need for my work. I have the ability to gain insights on how I've been working and what I've been spending my time on, and I gain better insights on how my team is working and ways that we can collaborate better together. Okay, we just had a great conversation with Kelly Kraut, and we discussed some great social media strategies and how to implement those. Now let's take a look at the numbers and look at some reports that might be helpful in facing the decisions that we have to make about this. So the first place I want to go is I'm going to go to my File Explorer here on the taskbar. My File Explorer shows me all of the files and storage locations that I have available to me. And the one I want to talk about right here is my OneDrive for Business. When I open up my OneDrive for Business, this gives me all the documents that are in the cloud that I have access to. Well, why is that important? That means I can get to these documents from any device, regardless of whether I actually own that device or not. As long as it has internet connectivity, I can get to my documents and work on my documents. It also means it gives me the chance to synchronize those documents with my personal device. So if I don't have internet connectivity, I can still work on those documents. And then when I do connect to the internet, they automatically synchronize back to the cloud. All right, so we've got our documents right here. Here's one for marketing reports. I want to open up this particular document. Okay, this document opened up in a tool called Power BI Desktop. Power BI Desktop is a tool that allows me to create and modify and edit visualizations for these reports that we want to look at. Then it also allows me to publish those where my team can have access to them. But here's some of the things that are really exciting about this. These are the visualizations I can create here off to the right and the fields that affect that. And this is a pretty colorful looking report that I have. But one of the things I want to show you here is how this now all works together. For example, if I click on email, watch what happens to all the other charts. They are linked. They automatically update based on the field or the feature that I'm clicking on. So I can come back in here and click on anything else. Let's go ahead and click on this dot right here. This dot deals with costs. So I'm going to go ahead and click on costs, and now we filtered the whole chart based on cost. Or let's go ahead and filter the whole chart based on North America. And because they're linked, I now have the filtering and the sorting based on every one of these graphics. Okay, this is perfect for what I need. I want to go ahead and share this with the rest of my team. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to upload it to my Power BI Online. To do that, I'm coming up to the ribbon, and here in the share group, I have my publish feature. When I click on publish, here it gives me the choice to automatically upload this. All right, we've gone ahead and we've published this to our online version of Power BI. Why is that significant? Let me show you. We're going to go ahead and open up our browser version here, and we're into our online version of Power BI here. If I come up to the upper left-hand corner and I expand those bars, I can see my navigation pane, right? Looking down here into reports, there it is. There's our marketing report. I'm going to select that and bring this into place. Now, this is kind of what's exciting about this for me is this is just as interactive as it was in the desktop version. So I can click on any one of these elements and it will modify the entire report to reflect what I just sorted down by that selection. Now, in addition to this, let's say this information is really key to my entire team or the whole company for that matter. If I come up here to the File tab, watch what I have available to me. What are my options here? See right here where I can publish to the web? If I choose Publish to Web, it allows me to create a link that I can embed or a code that I can embed actually in, say, a blog or a company website. In the lower left-hand corner, you see the Get Data tab. I know we touched on this before, but Get Data allows me to pull in information from any number of sources, and it can be linked or it can be static information. So I click on Files. Here I can pull in information from my local file or from my local device or my OneDrive for Business or even a team site if I want to. Now, if it's connected to my OneDrive for Business or my team site, here I can actually keep this data linked so that if it updates in one location, it updates in the other. I also have the ability to come in here and choose services that I want to connect to this or as other sources that I want to bring information in from. One of my favorite is right here. It's called CRM Online. So anything from my customer relationship management tool, any kind of reports or information data that we're generating there, I can bring it into the Power BI and create reports and information, then surface it to my team that way as well. All right, let's come back in here. Now, I've given you a lot of information to think about here. And you might be feeling a little bit overwhelmed here, but I want you to realize there's a simplicity to this that really makes it beautiful for me. All right, so we talked about how data sets make up reports, how we can bring in reports from a number of sources, and the reports will populate our dashboards. Well, in this smartphone dashboard, for example, here is the data set that pulls this information for this dashboard. We haven't populated any reports, but let's start creating some reports, and I want to show you how easy that is to take place. So there's this bar right here. It says ask a question about the data on this dashboard. This uses what's called natural language queries. So I can just type a question in here and it will automatically start searching my data sets for that information. Watch how this works. Okay, so the question I typed was I wanted to show the number of negative M400 tweets in only the United States broken down by state. Well, the M400 is a cell phone that our organization is trying to sell, and we want to try and analyze where our marketing is working and where it might need some beefing up. And at a glance here, it automatically generated this graphic for me, showing me where I have strength and where I have weakness. And this is a report it created off of that question I had. This is original right now. Okay, what we've just done is we've worked with some data and we created these dynamic and colorful visualizations that are really helpful. At a glance, we can make the decisions we need to. How often do you find yourself, though, working with raw data in Excel and having to massage that data to where it's something that you can actually use? Let's take a look at what I mean. I'm going to go ahead and go back to my OneDrive for Business. Okay, so here's my raw data. I have a problem with column A. Does anybody see what that is? You'll notice the reseller and the store combined into one field. Well, in the past, how would you separate that out? Well, I have several options available to me. If you were me, you'd probably hire an intern and make them retype it, right? But then if you're a little bit smarter than I am, you'd probably use the text to column formulas that are available to us. There's a brand new functionality that I want to showcase here. Let's go ahead and right click on our headers here and insert a couple of blank columns. Our first column header we're going to title as reseller. Our second column is going to be store number. Who's our first reseller? Well, if we look at column A, our first reseller is going to be Prosware. Our second reseller is going to be Fabricom, right? So let's go ahead and type in Prosware. And then our second reseller is Fabricon. And notice I just got 2 characters typed in and it's automatically making a recommendation or suggestion for me. For me to accept that, all I have to do is place enter. So what's happening here is Excel is looking at this and it's starting to recognize a pattern in my work and giving me suggestions based on that pattern. Let's do the same for store number here. I'm going to type in pound 00051 and our next store number is pound 000, and it's automatically making that suggestion. Now let's say I've typed through this suggestion or didn't make the recommendation right away. I'm going to go ahead and type this in here so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, let's say I typed through it and so it's a little bit confused about, well, why did you type through this? It's made the suggestion for me. If you put your cursor in the next blank cell below that, go to your data tab. And to the right-hand side here, do you see flash fill? If we click on flash fill, it will force that recommendation now. So that's the functionality I wanted to show you here was the flash fill functionality. For me, this became a game changer, the ability for it to come in and recognize those patterns. I can also do that in the reverse flow. So for example, I need to use information from multiple fields to create a SKU number. I can build that SKU number, and as soon as it recognizes that pattern, it will use flash fill to pre-populate or to automatically populate the rest of the table. Okay, so we've built our reseller column, we've built our store number column. I can go ahead and delete column A because I have that information separated out now. So this is my new table that I'm working with here. Now, there's some other functionality that has become really powerful for me. Let's go ahead and select all of our data here. And there's a brand new icon that appeared in the lower right-hand corner if you see it down here. This is called Quick Analysis. Excel is taking a guess based on the data that I have here of ways that I can represent this and create the visualizations that will be important for that. So for example, I have my formatting tab and here's a bunch of different conditional formatting options I have available. Or it will recommend charts for me and I can simply hover over these charts and it will create the charts based on the information that's there and give me some options to choose from. Here's one for tables. I can choose the type of table that's interesting to me. This last one called Sparklines. Have you ever wanted to see how data trended over time? Sparklines will create a graph for each line that I've selected and give me that trending graph right there. Okay, so there's one more I'd like to showcase here. Let's go back in here and hit Control A and select all of our information again. I'm on my Data tab. Now I want to come over here to the far right-hand side. This is a really powerful functionality. if I click on Forecast Sheets, it takes this data and it creates a forecast worksheet for us right here using this basic information. Now, if you look at this, right here it's comparing costs over time here for me. And I can see how my costs are trending down. And here at the end of the blue is the end of our date here. But then in the orange, it gives me new forecasts based on what's coming up in the future. And this is where it's recommending or suggesting it's going to go based on our current trends and our past history. But it's giving me a range of options to look from. Here's our upper confidence level, and here's our lower confidence level. Now I can create this graph right from here by choosing Create. Now, we use the cost features here, but you can change that. For example, in here we have sales totals. We can work with sales totals as well and do forecasting based on sales. But we've got several options that are available to us right here. Now, I created the table and I created the graph. I can move this off to the side. Now, by right-clicking on this graph, I can change the type of chart that I'm looking at. We've got a line chart right here, but I also have available to me your column charts, and I can choose the 3D column graph if I want to, or I've got some new ones that are really interesting. Here's one that's called Tree Map. And Tree Map allows you to use colored blocks and various sizes of colored blocks to represent the data that's of interest to you. Another favorite of mine is this new one called Waterfall. And the Waterfall charts allows us to go ahead and graphically show this in the waterfall format. So a bunch of new features and functionalities. The whole idea is helping you get better results faster when it comes to massaging the data that you need to work with and creating the visualizations that are important for sharing with our team. Let's take a minute and recap what we've looked at today. We've looked at a lot of information. As you recall, we started in Delve, where we were able to gather the resources that we need to help us with our projects, and we were able to collaborate better with our team. From there, we went into Power BI Desktop that helped us create these wonderful graphics and reports. Then we were able to publish those online to Power BI Online and surface those to our colleagues that need that information. Finally, we took a look at raw data and how to massage that and make it usable for ourselves and for our teammates. So hopefully you've seen some information here that would be helpful to you. Thank you very much. Would you like to test drive the solutions we've talked about yourself in a hands-on environment? Microsoft offers both online and in-person immersion experience sessions, which are fully customized to your business priorities. These sessions start with a roundtable to discuss your biggest business challenges, and then you'll log into a live environment in the cloud. This is a great way to get your hands-on experience with Windows 10 and Office 365 in a collaborative and fun environment. Come on by and check it out.